Hi there everyone, I just noticed that the new patch notes for March 24th patch, this is the DLC patch for Dark Souls 3, the DLC, the second DLC I mean, were out, and I just went through these patch notes real fast and read them, and there is some pretty interesting stuff in here, so I wanted to kind of go through these patch notes and tell what I think about some of these changes, because yeah, there are a couple of boring ones, boring changes that doesn't really matter, but there's a couple of very interesting notes in here, so let's look on it. So these were provided by the community manager Kimundi for Dark Souls 3 from Bandai Namco, and he has a couple of notes in here before there is this patch note list, and there's huge amount of patch notes. As you can see, there's a lot of fixes, so that's another reason why this patch is actually pretty interesting. But yeah, he has a couple of notes in here. I cannot confirm for the moment that the content of the DLC will be preloaded with this patch, but I'll try to get the answer before the patch. I do not know what exactly what motion stands for exactly. We couldn't find a better translation. I would go for speed, attack speed, animation speed, something like this. The effects on reduced, increased, poison / bleeding build-up were quite cryptic. I'm not sure if it's gonna wait correctly. So yeah, these are a couple of notes that you should keep in mind while we discuss these patch notes. But in terms of that motion thing, I think that motion could refer to attack speed, the animation speed, or the startup speed. I think that's my take on it. But yeah, let's go for the patch notes themselves. So made system updates for the Ringed City, so that's the new DLC. By the way, these patch notes are completely spoiler free, so don't worry about any spoilers. But yeah, system updates for Ringed City, nothing really to say about this. Then the second one already, really interesting stuff. Increased frame rate for gameplay on PlayStation 4 Pro. I don't personally own a PlayStation 4 Pro, but I'm very happy for those who do, because this might, in the best case scenario, this might mean 60 frames per second gameplay. But I think the more logical or more realistic approach to this would be that it just stabilizes the frame rate a bit. I don't think it's gonna reach the 60 frames per second. Maybe on the best case scenario, it might be like variable frame rate, that it might go to 60 on very rare places, but it kinda varies between 30 and 60. But anyways, this is good news. You can get a little bit better performance on PlayStation 4 as you should, so that's really good. Then, 2 new maps added to Undead Match, Dragon Ruins and Grand Roof. I haven't featured this on my channel, but there were a couple of, I think one stream that featured, the Bandai Namco streamed and showcased a couple of new areas, I mean arenas, and those were both really good looking arenas. Like, well, I'm not sure about the Grand Roof, it's kind of tilted, so it might cause some problems, but the Dragon Ruins looked very promising. Lots of places to plunge your opponents, so perfect for like team matches, I think. So yeah, I was really happy with those couple of arenas featured there, and you can find footage on it if you want to. There's probably many places you can find footage from those new arenas, but yeah, we're getting new arenas, and that's amazing. Added function to Undead Match where if password matching is used, players can split into teams. So this probably means that if there is like let's say 2v2 and all of the people are using the same password, they kind of get into the same match, but they're split into different teams. That's what I'm taking out of this. And a little continuation for that. Added function to Undead Match that allows one team of players to match with one password and the other team to match with another password. So yeah, this is what everyone has been hoping for, the arena. That you can play with your friends with consistency. You can actually get in the same team with your friend. I think that's what this means, and it's incredible. This is a really good addition to the arena, and I think a lot of people are going to have fun with this. Added function where various hosts could be displayed on the bonfire warp menu. I'm not sure what this refers to. I'm really not sure what this actually refers to. I think I'm not familiar with this bug. I mean, added function. Wait a minute, what? Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I don't really know. This is very weirdly set in here, in my opinion. Oh, let's just drop to the second one. Or next one. Added warning text that advised a player if he or she has dropped too many items in a single location on the field. I didn't think that I didn't know that this was a problem or that happens, but yeah, I guess that's an addition. Fixed issue where the loading screen was displayed for longer than usual when the guest returned to his or her own world after an online multiplayer session. So just a little issue that I didn't know about, but I'm glad that it gets fixed. Fixed issue in the painted world of Ariandel, where the open/closed status of the door to the cleansing chapel did not sync properly during online multiplayer sessions. Again, another problem I was not aware of, but I'm glad they're fixing it. Fixed issue where a guest could enter alone into the boss room for the Dancer of the Boreal Valley during online multiplayer session. Okay, I didn't know that this existed either, but it's pretty interesting. Because then your summon could just take down the dancer and you wouldn't even need to enter the room. So I guess that's good to have fixed. Fixed issue where the level sync feature in Undead match did not sync consistently during online multiplayer session. So this has been apparently some kind of issue that you get synced with players that are not on your level range, which should not happen. It should fix you with a level. So yeah. Good that that's getting fixed. Fixed issue in the loading screen where guests were not alerted to an error that occurred on the host side during online multiplayer session. Could this be one of those, like, when you get thrown out of just people's world and it doesn't give you any alert message? Because that happens sometimes, very rarely. That you just get thrown out of the world and there's no message, nothing. Like, it doesn't say that if it disconnected or if anything weird happened, it just happened. So yeah, this might be referring to that one. And the next one is fixed issue when player using the miracle Tears of Denial doesn't get attacked during online multiplayer session. Didn't know that this existed either. So what this sounds to me is that there was some kind of bug that Tears of Denial like nullified your ability to get hit. That's what this sounds, but I didn't know that this exists even. So yeah, seems like a pretty bad bug. Fixed issue where the weapons and items sent to the box get corrupted when inventory is full. Didn't know this one either. This is kind of a knowledge back of how many things were fucked up with this game that I didn't know about. But yeah, apparently that's getting fixed as well. Fixed icons that specify which certain items are for which gender. Example, chain armor. I didn't even know. I need to be frank with this. I didn't know that there is some sets that are like indicated with some indicator that it's for a specific gender or something. I didn't know anything about this, so I have missed some huge thing because there seems to be an icons for that, or did the icons not display correctly before, or what is this? I'm not sure, but it has been a thing. And this is just super surprising. This is why these patch notes are also interesting to me, because there's so many like issues with the game that I didn't even know about, but now I do, and I'm very glad that they get fixed. Improved attack power for short sword. In accordance with this fix, critical hits is decreased in order to make critical power the same as present. So yeah, short sword getting a buff. Actually pretty exciting, because I really like short sword. As you know, I like simple weapons, I like simple swords, and short sword is one of those that I've been liking to use in the previous games, but I haven't really touched it on Dark Souls 3, so yeah. Short sword, pretty cool, but apparently they're going to decrease the critical hit, so it doesn't like get too buffed. This is how I'm understanding this one. But yeah, short sword is gonna get buffed. Cool, cool for me. Okay, this is very interesting. Improved motion of normal attack for ultra great swords, great hammers, and curved great swords. So, motion of a normal attack. As we discussed earlier, and also what Kimundi stated in the beginning there, is that he doesn't really know what the motion stands for. So, my guess, or the safest bet, would be the startup speed of the attack. That's my guess. That is the guess that I would go for. And if this is true, Ultra Great Swords, Great Hammers, and Curved Great Swords really got a nice buff in here. Because even though these are kind of slow weapons, they're not that slow in this game. Like, not that slow. They are easy to parry. Well, some of these weapons and some of the attacks are easy to parry, so maybe that's kind of try to counteract with that. I don't know, but it's really interesting and potentially great buff for great weapons. Decreased stamina depletion when attacking using Ultra Great Swords, Great Hammers, and Great Axes. So this is another buff, just plain buff. You get like less stamina drain when attacking with these weapons. Only Curved Great Swords don't get this bonus, but they get the raised speed. So yeah, this is just another great buff for heavy weapons. Pretty much needed, to be honest. Heavy weapons have always been the underdog, and yeah, I just hope that this is actually a useful buff to them. Improved attack power for Curved Great Swords. I don't necessarily think this was needed. I don't think attack power was never the problem with Curved Great Swords. Well, maybe some of them, but think about Exile. Exile Curved Great Sword. Like, goddamn, that thing hits like a goddamn truck. So it's gonna be a beast now. It is already a beast, but it will be a ridiculous damage. Decreased motion of normal attack while dashing for katanas. Improved motion of any other normal attacks. Another very, very interesting thing. Because katanas, what have they been good for? Running attacks so far. But if this is what I think it is, it's startup speed. The motion stands for startup speed. So I think that the katana running attack spamming is over, but they're getting buff for their other attacks, which are actually pretty slow at the moment. Well, at least compared to other games. Like, usually the katana was like all-around good weapon. It was fast on the movement and all of that stuff. Running attack was great, of course, but also other attacks were pretty fast. So this is a very interesting change, and I want to see whether it makes katanas maybe better, worse, or does it kinda balance itself out? I don't know, but it's very interesting change because well, think about washing bowl. Think about that shit. So yeah, washing bowl is gonna be a very different weapon after this if it is what I think it is. Improved motion of shield bash skill. In accordance with this fix, stamina consumption has been reduced. So yeah, this was very well needed. In my opinion, shield bash was pretty fucking useless. I really hope that it's a lot more faster. So getting a shield bash shield is actually like worth it in the future. So I'm very happy with that. And stamina consumption is also decreased, or reduced. So that's good. That's good. I like that. Improved motion of daggers blind spot skill. Yes! One of my favorite weapons is getting buffed again. Carving Great Knife. Carving Great Knife is an amazing weapon. I love to play with that weapon. And its blind spot is getting maybe faster? Hopefully. Increased rate at which Frostbite builds up when using Ward's Great Hammer, Irrital's Straight Sword, and Frida's Great Scythe. So basically, Frost weapons are getting buffed. Gotta complain with that. I don't know if Fried's Great Scythe actually needed that, but Ward's Great Hammer definitely needed that. Maybe Irrital's Straight Sword as well. So yeah, Frostbite is getting another buff. Shortened attack window of Carter's Curved Sword and Dark Sword, Gargoyle Flame Hammer, and Follower Saber. So, shortened attack window. If I would have to guess what this means is that they have lesser active frames. They have lesser active frames in their like attack animations. So what this basically means that you have kind of startup frames, you have active frames and recovery frames on each of the attacks, like parries, if you want to think it that way. So what I think, at least what this sounds, is that these weapons, these following weapons, Carter's Curved Sword, Dark Sword, Gargoyle, Flame Hammer, and Follower Saber, are going to have less active frames. But it could also mean shortened attack window It could also mean recovery time is lessened. That could be also be one of the possibilities, or they get faster. But I think they're not gonna get faster because shortened attack window doesn't really sound like that. The motion would stand for faster attack in my opinion, but we're gonna have to see about that. I don't think these weapons are going to get buffed. So yeah. Improved motion of Crescent Moon's short skill, Crescent Blade. This is amazing. I love that weapon. I love how it looks. I love the idea behind the weapon, but it was complete shit. It was complete shit. That weapon is incredibly bad. But I hope that the improved motion means that the laser comes out faster. That would be really good. Just a little bit faster, and it would like. I hope actually that they fix also how the projectile comes out, because there's some really heavy problems with how the projectile of that attack comes out. It can hit easily on the ground, and it's pretty hard to make to work really nicely in most of the cases. But you can do it after some training, but it's still tedious for the damage it gives. So yeah, I really hope they fix that shit up. Really nice news on that. Improved the motion of Moonlight Greatsword skill Moonlight Vortex. I'm not familiar with the Moonlight Greatsword too much, but I think the Moonlight Vortex is the stab thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, it might be also the beam, but I think it's the stab. Maybe this comes out faster as well, I don't know. I don't know what the motion stands for, but I would bet it comes out faster. Improved FP recovery effect of Executioner's Greatsword. I really hope that they boosted the fuck out of this one. I really hope that this actually like grants you like with each hit you get like your full FP bar or something. Otherwise it's completely useless. If you don't overdo it, it doesn't have any like substantial effect on anything. So I hope that they really buffed on this. I really hope they did, because it's kind of useless skill to begin with. But with mages, you could make it maybe work somehow and make it to your advantage or something with a very peculiar setup. You could make it work, but as it stands now, it's completely useless buff for the weapon. Fixed so that Frostblade appears from the beginning of the Pontiff Knight curved sword skill. So this is kind of a visual fix, but I kind of like it. Like, why not? It might cause some issues of the attack being a little bit too easy to read now, because you see it start from the beginning of the animation. So this might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. At least it's gonna look fancy. Improved FP decrease effect on Fjorska Spear skill Pacify. So yeah, this is another FP related thing that no one really used, no one really cared about, but I hope they boosted the shit out of this and it's actually something that you can use on something. So yeah. Improved motion of the frost effect of Pontiff Knight Great Sight skill. Yeah, this is just a frost buff, I think. Motion of the frost effect. I have a hard time remembering how the attack is, but yeah, it's just another frost buff. Improved motion of normal attack for Great Lance. I think the Great Lance kinda needed it, because Great Lance was very one-dimensional weapon. So I really hope it has been made faster or something. I think it would be made faster. Fixed so that the poise is applied during Great Lance two-handed attack. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. Fixed so that poise is applied during Dark Hand skill Life Drain. This is really interesting. This is really interesting because this is a really good buff for Dark Hand. Because I actually thought that it would have some hyper armor, but apparently it doesn't have poise activated, so now you can just like more risky go for that like grab attack, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool buff for that. Disabled parry during pickaxe's two-handed attacks. Makes sense. Improved duration of the perseverance effect. I don't know why this is, because perseverance is perfect as it is, in my opinion. I think it's very useful in certain situations, but it's not too useful. So I really hope that they didn't buff the shit out of this one, because it didn't really need it. It was useful as it is, and you really still needed to use it intelligently to make it work, but hopefully it is not like, hey, I had to fucking buff for like 20 seconds. Fix the issue where the attack power of some bolts was different from the assumed value when using Avalyn. Don't know what the bolts were that were acting weirdly with this, but it's a fix. Fix the issue where one-handed attack motion of Crow Talons was incorrectly using the animation for the fists. So it wasn't in Dead. That was very interesting. So maybe it will get a new animation for that. Fix the issue where player can apply enchantments of Bloodlust to other weapons. Yeah, this was just an abusable bug, and everyone knows this was gonna get patched. Fix so that poise is applied during spin sweep attack. Okay. Spin sweep. What weapons? There's like a million weapons that have spin sweep. I think spin sweep is also the one on the Partisan. Is it the one on X? The curved great swords have spin sweeps. Like a ton of weapons have some kind of spin sweeps. So I don't know if this is going to apply on all of them or just the specific ones. I cannot remember. I don't think the twin. Like Twin Knight, the Winged Knight Twin Axes are gonna have this sort of spin sweep. I think it has some other weapon art, but if this would apply to the goddamn spin to win with the twin axes, I would be so fucking hyped, but I don't think this is the same spin sweep. I'm just forgetting the name of that spinning move with the twin axes, but yeah, it would be very interesting. This is potentially really good buff for some weapons, because spin sweep is kind of slow, but it can lead to like some really good combos, so I don't know, let's see. Fix the issue where Oni Slayer continued to attack consecutively. I'm not sure what this refers to. Oni Slayer is the Onigiri and Ubadachi jump attack. The thing that, or the only thing that you need to really look for when fighting against that weapon. This could mean a couple of things. Maybe there's some kind of buff, bug, I mean, that it means that when you use the Oni Slayer, it attacks 2 times instead of 1. Or this might mean that after you cannot combo from Oni Slayer anymore. So there were some instances where you could like combo straight from the Oni Slayer, and it was instant bleed and shitload of damage, and sometimes like instant death. So what I hope this fixes is that you can't combo from Oni Slayer anymore. That would make a ton of sense to me, because the attack itself is pretty good attack in itself. Now that it has hyper armor, it cannot be like interrupted, so like why does it need to combo as well? I don't know. Improved correction value for sharp or heavy weapons upgrade. This is another interesting one. I think this might mean that there are gonna be more dex and strength heavy weapons in the future. Like I mean, what the hell is the quality weapons? What the hell is the proper term? I think it's somewhere. I'm gonna cheat. It was in the future thingies. Refined, yeah, refined. I'm sorry, it took me a little bit, because it was quality before. Everyone goes with quality build, but it's refined. So refined upgrade path has been, on most cases, the best upgrade path, or hollowed. So I hope that this fix makes us that there are more weapons that actually benefit from having, like, let's say 60 dex and using the sharp, or 60 strength and using the heavy. That's what I hope this is. So that I hope that the refined is still going to be the best for some of the weapons, so that there is some reason to go for quality build. But I really hope that there will be more weapons that benefit more from sharp or heavy upgrade paths. And I think that's what this means. Increased rate at which bleeding builds up when using a reduced bleeding build-up. So I wonder what this is. I think this is kind of a buff to bleed defense. Maybe? I don't know. Sounds like it. Decreased rate at which bleeding builds up before using a reduced bleeding buildup. So are these just like overall bleed buildup buffs and nerfs? Like it's more drastic. If you have more bleeding resistance, it's more like heavy effect, and when you have more bleeding damage, it's more heavy effect as well. So it's more, the changes are more drastic. Maybe that's the thing. Increased rate at which poison builds up when using a reduced poison buildup. So what I'm drawing from this is that they're basically just buffing these status ailments, like bleeding and bleeding and poison. And in my opinion, bleed, didn't really need that, but poison, definitely. Along with improving correction value for sharp or heavy weapons upgrade, adjusted correction value for refined or hollowed weapons upgrade. So yeah, I think that they're just overall balancing the upgrade paths. So they're going to make some refined weapons less good, and buffing a little bit of sharp and heavy weapons, making the hollow weapons a little bit less good. Maybe, that's my take on it. Improved defense and also increased weights for heavy armor. Very interesting. This is very interesting. So, when I was kinda doing PvP on the last days when I still played Dark Souls 3, I'm kinda now on the break because there's some other games. I'm coming back in the DLC, of course, but when I was stopping the PvP in there, I just noticed that I was less and less like needing the heavy armor pieces. I was just opting out to the faster stamina recovery and roll, or longer roll, instead of heavy armor, and I felt no need to go for heavy armor whatsoever. So what I really hope that this does is that it drastically increases both of these. It drastically increases weight, and it drastically improves defense. So in best case scenario, we're going to see medium roll builds actually work. That would be interesting. Like, I know poise works differently, but if there would be drastic change to defense, like you actually take like substantial amount less damage, it would be interesting. That's all I'm saying. That would be very interesting on build variety and stuff like that. But we're gonna have to see how big this change is gonna be. It might be just minor and no one gives a fuck, but there's always hope. There's always hope. Improve the motion of Lightning Stake, Lightning Storm, and Way of White Corona. Yes, this is really good. Like, all the buffs that Faith can get, just give it to them. Give it to them. Like, Way of White Corona. Jesus Christ, what a spell. Yeah, this really needed buffing. Extended time on using the miracles of No, Dorhus Knowing, and Wrath of the Gods. I don't know what this actually aims for. Extended time. Why would you extend the time of Wrath of the Gods? That takes like million years to cast. Maybe the effect of the explosion or the projectile is bigger or longer. I don't know. More active frames, possibly. Sounds fair to me. Fixed issue where bonus value is not affected by dark damage when equipping Hornet Ring during critical attack. Didn't know that this exists, but good that they fixed it. Improved attack power and decreased duration of poison and poison effects players use. So yeah, it's just basically what I think this is that it deals the same amount of damage, but it deals it in shorter time period. That's exactly how I would buff poison. Like, that's exactly the way you should buff poison in this game. So the poison actually drains your health more rapidly, but it does the same amount of damage overall. So the player who gets poisoned actually needs to like act on the poison more fast to not get his health or his or her health drained down so fast. So yeah, definitely good. Definitely good. Decreased rate at which blood builds up when using Cartouche Rouge. Amazing. Cartouche Rouge has been ridiculously good applicable buff. that is really good. Like, with some weapons, Cartouche Rouge was absolutely ridiculous, and that is a really good nerf. That is really good nerf. Okay, so that was all the notes. I think these were really interesting stuff in here. I really hope that some of the changes that here are listed here are really drastic. I really hope that they went all in and actually made some things noticeable. Not just small changes, but some really actually noticeable changes. I'm excited for 2 new areas for the arena mode, and teaming up with partners. That will be interesting. And yeah, I really hope that this patch will make some well-desired changes. But yeah, thanks for listening my rambles about the patch notes. I think this is kind of random. I'm not even playing Dark Souls 3 at the moment, but I will be back in the second DLC. But I think this was so interesting and large patch that I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the second DLC, the Ringed City. Take care.